Good morning. My name is Sarah, and I will be doing a lesson. And my focus student is Jeremy. He has a visual processing disability. That means that he has a hard time taking in information through the eyes. His brain cannot process information quickly through his eyes. It is not anything associated with blindness or visual impairment. The lesson I'm going to be doing is an addition lesson for first grade, and it is derived from the box ball throw lesson. So the first thing I'm going to do is call students to sit on the rug, and in front of each student's rug spots will be their materials, which is a whiteboard, a marker, and a baggie of 20 cubes, 10 red and 10 yellow. So I'm going to compliment students for sitting nicely, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show students a video on the smartboard of counting from 1 to 20 because they need to be able to recall their numbers. Jeremy, who was my focus student, will be sitting in the front of the room so he could see the board clearly. After the video is done, I'm going to start by reviewing what we learned yesterday. So I'm going to be asking students, what did we learn about yesterday? After students answer and say that we learned about addition, I'm going to compliment them for remembering. And I'm going to ask them, what does addition mean? And when they tell me, again, I'm going to compliment them, and I'm going to turn the document camera on, and I'm going to display the vocabulary cards under the document camera. So the document camera, when you connect it to the smartboard, anything you display under it will be in a very large display. So as the students can see the vocabulary card, I'll be reading the definition out loud, and this will help Jeremy because students with a visual processing disorder, they need things to be verbalized out loud as well. So verbalized along with visual. And the cards will be in large print, so Jeremy will be able to focus and see the cards and read as much as he can clearly. So I'm going to display the addition card after I ask them what it means. I'm going to read it to them, and then I'm going to ask them what sign do we use to represent addition, and then I'm going to display the plus sign under the document camera and read the definition. Then I'm going to ask them, what do we call the two numbers that we add together? So then students will tell me an add, and then I will display this under the document camera. I will then ask them what is an equal sign, and I will ask them what is a sum. And students will be complimented as they are participating and answering questions for either answering correctly or for trying. So after this, I will get into my introduction of new skills. So I'm going to tell them today I want to show you how to add two numbers with your cubes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say I have a baggie with random numbers. I'm going to pick two numbers from the bag, and those two numbers will be my add-in. So I'm going to take out the cards, 3 and 8. So now I'm going to do a lot of thinking out loud. So I'm going to say, before I even add with my cubes, I need to write my number sentence. So, what is my first add-in? I remember that my first add-in was a 3. So I'm going to write the number 3. And then I'm going to ask myself again, what should I write next? I know that I need to write the sign that represents addition, which is the plus sign. Now what do? I need to write my second add-in, which is 8. Now I know that I need to write my equal sign. Let me read my number sentence out loud. 3 plus 8 equals, and let me put a box so I know that my answer needs to go in the mystery box. So after I do that, and this will also be displayed under the document camera so Jeremy could clearly see what I am writing and how to set up a number sentence. This anchor chart as well will be displayed in front of the classroom, which talks about what addition means and how to set up a number sentence so students can reference to this. So after I do that, I'm going to show students how to add with the cubes. So I'm going to say, what should I do first? How many cubes should I take out first? I need to build my first add-in. I'm going to take out 3 red cubes. So I'm going to show students how to do this. So this will, as I'm putting the cubes together into towers, I'm going to be displaying that under the document camera, and I'm going to be checking my work and counting 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to say, well, now I need to display my second addend, which is 8. So I'm going to build a tower of 8. So I'm going to be doing that under the document camera as well, so that students are seeing it. And I'm going to remind students that after we finish building with one color, we need to build with the next color, which is yellow. So now that I have that done, I'm going to display it under the document camera. I'm going to recount it and check my work. And then I'm going to say, well, if I want to show addition, these are my two addends. If I want to show addition, what should I do? I know that addition means putting two parts together. So I'm going to put my two towers together, and then I am going to count the total. I'm going to count to find the total. So as this is displayed under the document camera, I will be counting. And then once I get the sum, which is 11, I'm going to show students how to write it in my mystery box, and I'm going to read out loud. So the next portion will be the guided practice, which I will introduce the new game. So I'm going to tell students I have a box, and the box has jars in it numbered from 1 to 10. I'm going to have two balls. I'm going to throw each ball into a jar, and I'm going to see what number the jar says. The numbers that I select from the jar will be my two addends. So pretending that these are my jars, I'm going to have the numbers 5, and I'm going to have the numbers 9. And then I'm going to tell students we now need to add those two numbers. So for the guided practice, we will be doing that together. So I'll be asking a lot of guiding questions like, so when we set up our number sentence, what are we going to write first? What is our first addend? Then I'm going, as students tell me the answer, we're going to be writing the first addend together, which is 5. And then I'm going to ask students, what do we need to write next? And as students answer and they tell me the plus sign, I'm going to say, very good, let's write the plus sign together, and we're going to be writing it together. And then I'm going to ask them, what is the second addend? What are we going to write next? And then when students tell me the second addend, I'm going to say, very good, let's write it together. And then I'm going to say, well, what should we now write? And then when students tell me the equal sign, we are going to write the equal sign together. And then I am going to build the addend towers with the students. So I'm going to say, which addend are we going to build first? So students are going to look at their whiteboards and they're going to tell me the first addend that we're going to build. So then I'm going to say, let's all take our red cubes and build them together. I will be building along with the students. Everything that I'm writing and building will be displayed under the document camera. So we are going to build 5 and 9 together, and then I'm going to ask students, so if we want to show that we're adding, what should we do with our two addends, with our two towers? Students are going to tell me that we're supposed to connect it. After that, I'm going to tell students to find the sum on their own, so students should be counting. I'm going to be facilitating as that happens, and then students are going to tell me the final answer. I'm sorry, they're going to write their final answer on the whiteboard, and as I turn them back, I'm going to ask them, well, what is the sum? And they're going to tell me what the sum is, and I'm going to write it down on my whiteboard, which will be displayed under the document camera. So that will be the guided practice part. After that, I will compliment students for doing that so well, and then I will start transitioning them into their independent practice. So I'm going to tell students that each math group is going to have a box like this with the jars inside of it. They will have 2 balls. Each person in the group will get to throw the 2 balls, and they will write a number sentence based on where their balls landed. And then once you write your number sentence, you will use your cubes and your baggies to add your numbers. So students will have their own recording sheets where they will write their own number sentences. I will be collecting it at the end of the game. So I will be checking what number sentences they wrote, and I will tell students the team that has the most correct answers will win an extra ticket or prize. So I'm going to be watching how students are playing the game, how they're adding, how they're using their manipulatives. For a student like Jeremy, I will give him this personal anchor chart, so it will help him build a number sentence. Students with visual processing disorder, they might have a hard time with certain skills like throwing a ball into a cup. Their hand-eye coordination isn't strong, so I will give Jeremy the option of having cards, number cards that he can select from. Jeremy will also have a buddy who will help him verbalize, or who will verbalize to him what the numbers, the cards say, because students with visual processing disability can have a hard time reading numbers. So those modifications will happen for Jeremy. The cubes are also, the reason why I chose cubes as a manipulative is because Jeremy does really well when he has manipulatives, which are cubes. So he does well with these types of manipulatives. And according to our textbook, teaching students who have cognitive delays, teaching should be activity-based, and the objective should be incorporated in a play activity. So this is a good way to get him to be interested in adding and doing math. Other accommodations are, having handouts in large print. So this would be given to him in large print. Number cards would be displayed in large print. So this will take place for my student. After the game is over, I will transition them back to the rug, and I will have an exit ticket for them. So of course I'll compliment the students for doing well in the game. I'm going to collect all the recording sheets and tell them who won later on. I'm going to ask students what they learned, and students will remind me about what they learned about and what addition means. Then I will go on to explaining the exit ticket. So the exit ticket will be like a little paper. The paper will have 2 number cards on it, and students are supposed to use they're supposed to write a number sentence and use their cubes to add. So for Jeremy, the exit ticket, of course, will be in large print, and if he needs it, I will verbalize to him what the numbers on the card say, so he can be able to write his number sentence. So that is the conclusion of my lesson. I hope it was really helpful, and I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's feedback. Thank you.